Hopefully I got a thumbnail there. Not sure. Hello and welcome to our 9-month Donny update, baby update. Donny is 9 months and 1 week old now. It's like, what's going on? There's a little smile. And he's just my favorite little boy ever. Yes, you are. Oh, he is such a sweet boy. He is such a sweet baby. We're just so blessed with love and joy, and I am just savoring these moments. Of course, I savored them with my daughter, who will be 3 in a couple of months, if you can believe that. But I feel like, especially knowing that this is my last, let me see if I can keep him on my lap for a little bit, because I know you guys all want to see him. Knowing this is my last baby, I just feel like I've been really conscious of savoring the little moments, the little snuggles, the little looks he makes, you know, and just the little stuff. Of course, we're, you know, noticing all the big stuff. He's growing a lot. He's learning new tricks. He wants to play. Let's see, maybe you guys can see him a little bit if I put him back a little bit in the frame. Yeah, and give you a big bunch of toys to play with. He's a little behind me so you guys can see him, hopefully. Anyway, so I haven't updated you since 6 months, and I want to go ahead and do that today. Just the basics. Donny, at his 9-month wellness check last week, which went great, he weighed in at 18 pounds, 14 ounces, which is about the 35th percentile for weight, and then he measured in at 28 inches long, which is 50th percentile. Oh boy! And so he's been very consistent since birth. He's stayed within those ranges. Yeah. Charlotte also has been very consistent with her ranges since birth too, but she's always been in the 95th percentile for height, so that's a little bit different. I'm just realizing there's a lot of noisy toys in this bucket, so I apologize, but hopefully you guys can hear me. It's not too distracting. Yeah. What do you think, Bubba? Do you think you can play a little bit? We're like close to nap time, so I don't know how long this is gonna last. So those are his stats. He is really healthy, really well. We've been really fortunate that he hasn't had any any fever kind of illnesses, knock on wood. So that's really great, especially with Charlotte, you know, in a toddler program. She's just exposed to so much, and she brings home all the germs. It's a germ factory at those programs, and we've been doing great. So feeling really blessed about that. He's an amazing, excellent eater. I think when I last spoke to you, I was just starting him on solids, on purees. He, just like Charlotte, blew through purees. Within a couple of weeks, he was ready for table food, soft. I progressed how I've done it with both my children. So I progressed really quickly through purees to mashed foods, and then to very soft, bite-sized table foods. And we are mostly on table foods. He still likes to have a little puree with every meal. But he just in the last week has decided he doesn't like the little tiny bite-sized pieces anymore, and he likes pieces he can hold on to. What's all this complaining we're doing? What about this guy? You know you like that one. So I've been cutting things a little bit bigger so he can hold them. He's really good. He caught on really fast to chewing, to moving food around in his mouth. He has 2 bottom teeth. He only has the 2, but he's actually really good at like mouth awareness with food, and he quickly, just like Charlotte, learned when things move to the back of his throat, how to bring them forward on his own. I am a big believer in letting babies kind of sort that out themselves, and letting them feed themselves. I mean, you got to do what works for you, right? I mean, you're for you, for your kid. But what I do for my kids is I let them eat, and sometimes they choke a little bit, and I reach in and I grab the food. They don't like choke, you know what I mean? But they like, it gets, you know, They take too big of a bite or they try to swallow too much at once. And they learn very quickly how to not do that, how to spit things out. We're just very vocal. What's wrong? What's wrong? So I know some people will think that's like terrible, but honestly, it's worked for me and my family. Like I'm always right there with them when they eat. I never let them eat by themselves until they're like 2. You know what I mean? And even then I'm like within earshot, within eye shot. I'm always there watching. Cause you just still have to be careful with little kids, you know, while they're learning. But just like Charlotte, Donny has learned really, really quickly how to eat and not kill himself. And I think letting him feed himself and do it that way has worked out great. Of course, it makes a huge mess. It's not my favorite. You guys know I'm like a total neatnik. I don't like things messy, and I really dislike the messy eating phase. But to me, the like benefits outweigh how much it bothers me, how much of a mess it makes. And I let my kids get messy. I also think that's very important. I think it can lead to issues with like food texture sensitivities and things if you don't let your kids get messy, explore their food with their hands and their mouths. What are you doing? You have a lot going on. Do you want to roll around? Yeah? He really wants to touch this tripod. I should probably not put him on the ground. You can't eat it. He's mouthing everything. Of course, any baby at this age will be mouthing everything. Yeah, you can't eat that though, okay? You can roll around, but you can't eat mommy's tripod. He likes to just basically anything he can get his mouth around, he will put in his mouth. So I never really unbaby-proofed, I would say. Charlotte does have some smaller toys that we now keep on higher shelves in like bins. He really wants the tripod. That's why you're upset. That's why you're upset. You want the tripod. You can't have it. That's mommy's. That's really the only difference I've made. We already had all of our gates up. I do need a gate for the bottom of the stairs. I never figured that out with Charlotte. We never really needed it because she was such a late developer with mobility. Donny is much more kind of on track, as they say. But again, whatever the like norms are, as long as your children are healthy and they're being, you know, observed on a regular basis by medical professionals, I don't really think there's anything to worry about. Charlotte didn't crawl till 14 months. She didn't walk till 22 months. She's fine. She can run and jump and skip and play. She's in gymnastics. She loves it. So I just don't worry. I don't worry about those milestones. I think there's a lot of emphasis on them. And of course, you need to be mindful of how your baby is progressing. But the main thing is that they're progressing, period. Every child develops at a different rate. Cece went, you know, first with food, good motor skill. Is that a motor skill? I'm not sure. But she developed really quickly with food, just like Donny, and then verbally, she's just very advanced verbally. She could talk in full sentences and paragraphs at age 2, which is, you know, by age 2 basically, which is really young. She was just before her 2nd birthday. She had her first and to date only ear infection. Hopefully it stays that way. And she told me she was just shy of 2 years old. She said, "Mommy, my ear hurts." And that's how I knew to take her, you know, to see if she had an ear infection. So she has always been very advanced in kind of the oral, verbal way. And Donny might be the same. Both of my kids apparently are very flexible. Charlotte's situation with the way she was kind of wedged in my uterus for the last trimester of pregnancy definitely played into her mobility a little bit, for sure. And we did address it with lots of PT and stuff. But again, it was more just for being thorough, I would say. Donny, I didn't really notice until this past weekend. One of my good friends came over with her kids to play, and she's an occupational therapist for kids, and she pointed out that Donny also very open in the hips. And the way he even, like, I'm looking at him now, the way he even, like, when he's up on hands and knees and his legs are almost like in frog position. And I just, like, didn't even notice. He's so flexible in that way. I just thought all babies were that flexible, but apparently not. What are you doing? This is what he's doing now. I can't, he's getting a little bit frustrated, I think, because he's so flexible that it's a little bit harder for him to get his knees underneath him. He can do it. So he's getting up on hands and knees. He's much more, like farther along, I would say, at this stage, in kind of like getting towards crawling and stuff like that than Charlotte was at this age. But I think he gets a little frustrated because he wants to be more mobile, but he's still working on it. So he gets up on hands and knees and he does the rocking stuff. We're getting close to that. But like I said, I'm not worried about it. He's healthy, he's progressing rapidly. I think you need to worry if your child is not showing any signs of progress. And of course, he sees our pediatrician like every few months. And, you know, we talk about anything that might be an issue with him. For instance, he's had like kind of clogged tear ducts since birth, which is very common. Most babies, they clear out after a few months. Well, his right eye cleared out just about a month ago and now is clear, but his left eye still goops up constantly. Donnie, be careful with that. He's playing with his rocker, his little dragon rocker. And at our last appointment, she said, well, let's give him another few months, see if it clears up on his own. And if not, then we'll refer you to a pediatric optometrist, and they might want to probe, and hopefully we can avoid doing that, but that's just something we might have to do. So I think it's like things like that. You can't panic about those things unless it's something like worth panicking about. Do you know what I mean? He's healthy, he's great, and he's just so adorable. I can't get over how cute he is. So he rolls everywhere. That's his main mode of transportation. He loves rolling. He just rolled all the way across his room. He can roll both ways really well. Like I said, he gets up on hands and knees. And he does a lot of what I call Supermans, where he kind of like on his belly kind of does this like fish flop, and I think that's a strength building thing for him. He's excellent at sitting. We just started in the past week bathing the kids together because he's so solid at sitting that I don't worry about him in the big tub, especially with Cece there. It makes it like kind of like a smaller tub. And he's really loving that. He loves to do anything to do with Charlotte. He's like all over. He's just adores his big sister. He looks up to her so much. He wants to see her first thing every morning. He loves when she comes in to greet him after he wakes up from his naps or in the morning. He likes the kids sit next to each other at meals, and he loves watching, eating at the same time as her. He's just like, I feel like he's gonna be looking up, he's rubbing his eyes. I know you're tired, baby. He's gonna be looking up to her for the rest of his life. Little brother, big sister. And Charlotte's really blossoming in terms of their relationship. I think I mentioned to you, she was a little, I wouldn't say like resentful, not at all. She was just a little standoffish. Maybe that has a negative context. She just didn't really like want to get close to it, but not in like a negative way. She just like had no interest, and it's just been a very slow and steady progression of them getting closer and closer. Donnie is thrilled. He's like, I'll be your best friend for life. And she's getting closer and closer and closer to him. I think spending the month in August, we go to Utah with our family for the month. We live with my husband's sister and his folks and their family, and we all live in the same house and with their little cousins, Grace and Theo. And Grace loves babies and she loves interacting with Donnie, and I think Charlotte observing Grace interact with Donnie in more of like a really hands-on way really inspired her to get closer. I know you're tired. Why don't you come here? Anyway, she's been getting really much more hands-on with him. The fact that we can bathe them together, I think, says a lot, because Cece's usually very, she's very, what's the word? She's a creature of habit. I don't know where she gets that from. And she likes things to happen the way they always have happened. She doesn't do well with change. She has a difficult time with transitions in that way. She's getting much better with that as she matures. But, oh, a huggy. Thank you, baby. You give the best hugs. Yes, you do. They're just getting closer, and it's just wonderful. It makes my little mama heart sing. It does. It makes my little mama heart sing. I think that's about like the main stuff. This one's not pulling up to stand yet, although he likes it when we help him, you know, stand in a supported thing. And I remember all this PT stuff I did with Charlotte, so I've been kind of working with him a little bit on weight bearing and stuff like that. Donnie's most favorite thing is being upside down. Like, you have to be really careful when you're holding him because he will swan dive backwards. You just gotta be prepared. And that's where having the loopy phone case comes in handy, because I always have a hand free to catch him because he inevitably will swoop backwards. You might be a high diver or a gymnast or a pilot, I don't know, a stuntman. He likes being upside down. He likes going backwards, just like Charlotte. Both my kids are like that. Charlotte is loving gymnastics, by the way. It's a little Charlotte update too, I guess, for you. Let's see, what else? Okay, I think that's about all the news they can use with you. Oh, he started doing hard consonants over the last month. So he's got his ba, ba, da, da. And we say mama now. We say mama, mama. And he looks at me and says it. So he definitely associates me with that noise that you make. Mama, mama. He probably is not going to do it on camera. Mama, mama. Mama. Are you going to say mama? Yeah. No, we're just gonna whack mommy in the face. And oh, I think that's it. So babbling has progressed to consonants. You know, he's progressing really well, and he's just my love and joy, and my, oh, the light of my life. Oh, you and Cece are my joys. Love you so much. Now, me postpartum, not much has changed, if anything. Oh, we started sleeping through the night. That's a big one. I will talk about that for a minute, and then I gotta go put this one down. Basically, 1 week before he turned 9 months old, I had enough. I was like, I don't want to wake up 2-3 times a night anymore. And I had actually slowly been kind of weaning him off of 2 feedings a night to just down to 1 for like a few weeks before that. So I'd gotten him successfully down to 1 waking a night. And I was just tired. 9 months of pregnancy, not sleeping well, and then 9 months of a baby, not sleeping well. I was just like starting to turn into a zombie. And I wanted to get some sleep, and I knew he didn't need any more nighttime calories. He eats a ton of food. He still nurses 4 times a day. He's not hungry. You can tell when you're a nursing mom, when your baby is nursing because they're hungry, or when they're nursing for comfort, or just, you know, for comfort. And that's what he was doing. He was just waking up and was used to me coming in to get him. So I sleep trained him. 1 week shy of 9 months. Took 2 nights and it was done. That was it. 2 nights of me feeling awful and guilty, but he was fine and I knew he didn't need to eat, and just 2 nights, that was it. That's it. So I know some people don't like sleep training. I know some people don't like their babies to cry at all. Babies are gonna cry and they have to learn how to sleep. Some babies pick it up naturally. I feel like most don't, and you have to help them. So that's what we did. And he's been really good with naps. We're down to 2 naps a day. He's been sleeping really well the last few weeks during the day and at night. And I think a lot of that has to do with not waking at night anymore. Now that he's getting more quality sleep all night, he's sleeping better during the day. So, mommy is doing much better. I am feeling like a brand new person. I feel like I have energy. This is not every day, but most days I feel like I have so much more energy. I just feel better, getting like 5, 6, even 7. Last night I got 7 hours of sleep uninterrupted, which is awesome. He will still sometimes wake at night, but he'll just roll around and play for a few minutes, then go back to sleep. And of course I wake when I hear him on the monitor. He's not having this. Okay, baby. So being able to sleep a little bit. He does not want to do this anymore. He says, where's my nap? Where's my nap? Okay, sweetheart. Anyway, last thing I'm gonna say is being able to sleep. I have been able to get back into the gym in the morning. I'm aiming to do 3 to 5 workouts a week early. I wake up at 5:30, 5:15, 5:30 to get my little workout in, and it has been just nice to get back to that kind of routine. So it's very new and I'm really out of shape, but it is just nice, and I'm glad I didn't pressure myself into doing it. I wanted to wait until I was sleeping. That was my deal with myself. I said, when you are sleeping and you feel like you've rested enough, then you can go back to working out when it feels right. And I missed working out, but I knew that I needed to prioritize sleep. And I'm glad that I listened to my body in that way, and I honored myself in that way, and I didn't like get too, I wasn't too hard on myself about not working out sooner, and it just feels really good. I'm easing back into it. I do a little elliptical, I do a little Pilates, and some like more like yoga workouts, I would say, and some light, like HIIT, high intensity interval. Maybe not even high intensity, I would say like low intensity interval training. I'm just easing back into it, but it feels really good. And yeah, I gotta put this baby to sleep. So that is all that we're going to do today. He's not having this. Okay, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. We're working on our wave. We've started to clap. We started to clap a little bit. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry for the whiny baby. This was the only time I could think to get this video filmed before he's like 10 months old. So we will, we'll see you at Donny's 1-year update. His last baby update will be his 1-year update. And I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for watching, and take good care. Say bye-bye, Donny. I know you're tired. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.